Well, with me in studio, Chief Strategist at Investment Solutions, Chris Hart, to talk to us more about what's happening in Greece. Chris, welcome.
Thank you.
Right, the Greece story is not a new one. It certainly is an old one. I mean, from the very start, even before we saw this debacle in Ireland, there were worries about Spain, there was worries about contagion effects in Portugal. If you had to summarize the main concern or worry about Greece now to the international economy, what would you say?
I would say it's very much subdued compared to what it was 3-4 years ago when the first crisis arose. I think over the last few years, although Greek debt has been climbing, and that's because you're effectively lending more money to a bailout is exactly that, providing funding is the debt. It's to a large extent been isolated. And so you're seeing this effect on the financial markets, the initial knee-jerk reaction, and then the markets sort of start to drift back, recouping some of the earlier steeper losses. It's just that the Greek bonds, I think, will continue to, those yields will continue to climb, because obviously in default the risk is greater. But I think at this stage fairly limited. But Europe as a whole faces the same problems as Greece does. It's not a problem of the euro, it's a problem of the welfare state. And generations of politicians have promised more and more, right, and the tax bases are squeezed, and the debt has largely been going up for consumption reasons. In other words, it's to plug the holes in the welfare system. So you can see Greece needs the money to pay pensions and civil service salaries. That's basically why they need the money. And you can't borrow that. That's like borrowing money for groceries and then wondering why you're battling next month, right? And the trouble is, France is in the same position, Italy's in the same, Spain's in the same position. They're all borrowing money to fill their welfare gaps. But the trouble is, the moment you cut your welfare, you lose the election. And Juncker himself has said, we know what to do, but we just don't know how to get elected once we've done it.
And it's very interesting you mentioned the politics of this, because in Greece, if you support austerity, like you said before, Chris, your political career is on the line. You go back to Germany, if you support austerity measures, that's a similar case. Right.
Well, I actually believe austerity is not a policy choice. No politician will deliberately make themselves unelectable by saying, let's go an austerity route. Austerity is a policy consequence when you're actually running out of options, and then you're trying to salvage the situation. That's all it is. And it's what I call, in Europe, when it comes to transactionally, there's very little corruption. You can track each cent as it goes, and it can be tracked. But it's the systemic corruption of the political establishment that are making these promises, are just kicking the can down the road because they know that to pull back the promises are going to get them unelected. So they just keep going down this unsustainable path, right? And that's what I mean by the systemic corruption of the political establishment. And this is something that, as I say, Greece just got there first. It's just that the others are going to follow. And it's just a question of when. I don't think there's going to be a contagion, but of course the whole system depends on confidence. That's what the European Central Bank is all about. Do we have confidence? Right, and if we've got confidence, the system will stand up. But that foundation of confidence can be eroded when you start seeing similar problems then pop up in Spain or Italy.
Do you think that we've reached a high point in the standoff now? With moments ago, the European Commission's Jean-Claude Juncker saying, well, that's it. Those are the proposals. There aren't any new proposals. Take it or leave it. Is there something significant about that?
I think basically what the people who are willing to at least give it a go to lend Greece some money to keep this going, basically if they accept the proposal, all it is kicking the can down the road. It's to borrow the money to pay the pensions and civil service salaries. So basically, the Greece has decided, Tsipras, the Prime Minister, came in on a ticket of anti-austerity. He's going to deliver the biggest austerity to Greece yet, starting with this bank thing, because, as he say, he's discovering very quickly it's not a choice, it's a consequence.
From Investment Solutions, Chris Hart, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.